I need new music.
This is the JJO Discover New Music Podcast.
As just a preemptive to this interview, Tim was wearing gigantic Macho Man Randy Savage style sunglasses, and so I had to put on my, which I have in the studio, Macho Man Randy Savage as sunglasses, and we proceeded to have the entire conversation in these Macho Man Randy Savage giant sunglasses. So that's what we lead into. Like, we're kindred spirits now. Like, this was meant to be.
This is great. I could say this is awkward, but this is awesome.
This is awesome. This is how every interview should be conducted.
Thank God you're not in your boxers. I'm not. I'm wearing pants.
I was going to say, I am wearing shorts for what it's worth. This is Zoom casual, so pretty close. Pretty close. So
that's awesome.
Oh, my God. Well, I'm already so excited. I was excited to do this interview anyways. Now I am over the moon. I may have to take them off at some point so I can read, because these are very dark sunglasses. These are made for catching fly balls out there in the field. So
oh, yeah. All day. Fastballs, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. Well, joining me for a brand new Discover New Music is the one and only, the coolest named guy in the industry, I think, at this point, Tim Montana. Tim, thank you so much for taking the time, brother. I really appreciate it.
Oh, man, thank you for having me. And I do have to say, with the name, I played with Daughtry last night in Montana. One of his guys like, so if we're in Montana, do we just call you Tim up here? That's pretty good.
That is good. I like that. Mr. Montana, the mayor, I don't know, whatever you are, we make it work. Let's talk new music, because your brand new album, Entire State of Tim Montana, drops at the end of this month on the 31st. And there is so much to talk about on this album. But first, I want to hit on something that I thought was pretty interesting. It's a 16-track record, and I think a lot of artists would maybe drop in a couple more songs and split it into two, at least ride it out. Why'd you want to go with a longer, more extended record?
Man, I just put all these together and they all meshed, and I think I even cut a couple off of that 16 that didn't really mesh. But when we arrived at that number, it wasn't really a number. It was the songs were right. The songs flowed right. So I wasn't shooting for a number, right? Yeah. It was picking and choosing which ones worked to tell kind of this broader story or paint this portrait of what this record is. So yeah, so it's just kind of happened to end up at Lucky 16. And one of the tracks is the intro track, which is a skit that Charlie Sheen wrote, and he got his dad on, which is pretty cool. So there's actually one of them's a skit. There's no music at all. It's just talking. So,
well, I liked, and actually you brought in something that we're going to spend a good chunk of time on, and that is the collaborations on here. But I like that it just came together. And I think it would have been a disservice to the record if you're like, well, let's save this for maybe a different one. You just had a vision, and it just happened to fall on 16 tracks.
Yep, 100%.
Easy peasy. All right, now let's talk about collaborations, because you already brought up the first one I want to talk about, and that is, we could spend literally just this whole interview talking about collabs. That's actually going to be a good point of it, because there are a lot. But the opening track, Courtroom, which, like you said, is a skit, but it features Martin Sheen, Charlie Sheen, and Robert Patrick. For those of you, he plays the T-1000 in Terminator 2, just a legend. How does something like that end up on a record like this?
Well, it goes back to meeting Charlie Sheen years ago through Navy SEAL friend Rob O'Neill, because Rob joined the Navy because of the film Navy SEALs. So then he meets Charlie. Then he's from my hometown, so he plays Charlie my music. So we become buddies. So he ended up directing my video, Mostly Stone, got me my record deal with BMG, and we've stayed close ever since. And he put a book out, I think it was last year or maybe early this year. I think it was last fall. And the book came out, and he thanked me at the end of the book. He said, I'd like to thank the entire state of Tim Montana. He came up with that. And I was like, thought that was so funny and clever. His humor is a different level. I often have to pause when he tells me a joke. And then like 5 minutes later, I'm like, oh, he's like, what's so funny? I'm like 4 jokes ago, my brain just caught up to your level because you're genius. And so I said, dude, if you name the record, I said, why don't you do a cool intro of just like, hey, it's Charlie Sheen. Welcome to the entire state, right? Yeah. Something like that. And he goes, no, that's not exciting enough. He's like, I need to write a skit. So I'm like, okay. And then he writes a skit, and then I brought in Robert Patrick. They knew each other,
Yeah.
but they had never worked together. Now, Martin Sheen and Robert had worked together in a film back in the 90s. I don't recall what it was. But so then we're sitting there, and we go, who's going to play the judge? And Charlie goes, hang on, let me go to my dad's house real quick, see if I can get him to do it with a cell phone. And he said, hey, I was going to throw my dad a couple $100, and he could have paid me back. And my dad said, no, tell him it's on me. I just want him on the podcast at some point. And I was like, oh, okay, Martin Sheen. Like, can do.
That's the wildest, just like 6 degrees of Charlie Sheening that we just did right there to make this happen. That is, and like you said too, because that confirmed. I also saw that you said he came up with the title of it in that book that he wrote, and so Charlie Sheen plays a big role in the entire state of Tim, Montana.
Yeah, and it was also funny when he's like, oh, let me go see if my dad will do it. That took a couple seconds to be like, oh yeah, your dad. Whoa. It's not just any run-of-the-mill dad. No. If only Emilio would have been there, it would have been perfect. It would have been pretty damn close. Emilio! Well, all right. Well, we kicked off with a bang with that. Moving down, the next collab I want to talk about is on the track Watch Me Drown, and that features First Crazy Dog and the Wolfbear Drum Group, which are Native American artists from the Crow Nation in Montana, which that's one of the coolest sentences I've ever gotten to read. I know Hook and Barrel did a write-up on it, and that collaboration, not only how did it come to be, but why was it also a really important track for you to make? Yeah, so some of my first memories of music were going to the powwows, and I grew up near the Flathead Reservation and the Salish Kootenai, Browning, Montana, the Blackfeet. And it's such a part of the culture here. And then, going to LA and going to Nashville, I'm like, oh man, it's not as prevalent down there. And it's always those memories of the powwows when I was a kid, man. Their regalia, their traditions, their language is fascinating and beautiful. And, I grew up in a trailer house with no power, and music saved my life in so many ways. And there's a lot of poverty on the res, a lot of trailer houses, a lot of teen depression and unfortunate suicide in Montana. That's like, we're one of the number one in the nation. So I thought it'd be important to bring some Native kids into the studio. You think they're like 19 to 25 years old, most of these guys and gals, and get them on this record and hopefully inspire some youth out there. Cause I was inspired by grunge music, and that pulled me out of a dark spot in my life. And I wanted to hopefully do the same for some Native kids up here. And the song turned out, took me like a year to write that and figure out the lyric. Wow. And then I was driving through the reservation one day, and I'm like, this lends itself to a Native American melody. And then it took a while too. I had to go to the Crow Reservation Crow Fair, meet a bunch of folks, and then I had to go with my friend First Crazy Dog. He went and talked to the chairman of the tribe, Mr. White Clay, and he allowed them to come off the res to go to the studio, gave them a blessing to go do so. And then to go shoot the music video was another thing. We had to get permission. That's sacred ground, that's a sovereign nation. And they let us shoot on the private side of the Little Bighorn River, right where Sitting Bull had his sweat lodge, where he had the vision of killing Custer. And so the whole thing, man, so spiritual, so powerful, and I've got lifelong friends out of the deal. I stopped in the reservation the other night and bought a couple teepees for the bar up here in Montana. So we're going to do a smudging ceremony and bless them and go get teepee poles with my friend Dusty Kills His Enemy's Chief, another cool name. Awesome.
I mean, I got goosebumps on that. What a cool story and origin just from that. If for the record alone, just having that, I think is worth a listen. That is just so cool. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Like, and everybody my music friends in Nashville are like, what's he doing now? And then I sent them the song, and they're like, oh my God, you did it. It works. This is unbelievable. So I've got all my buddies and stuff. And it's funny backstory too. Yeah. I had that song half written, and I tried to write it. I pitched it to Jerry Cantrell. I said, will you help me finish writing this when I was on tour with him? And he goes, brother, this is a hit song that's half in the bag. What do you mean, will I help you? Go finish it.
And when Jerry says that, you do it, which we're going to talk about him in a second. But what a cool story for such a cool song. And I think that's really, and also too, you want to pay homage the right way, without being offensive, but also telling a story. And right. I know that's a fine line. And I think it's cool that you were able to find that, man.
Yeah, and if you read the article written in Hook and Barrel, that explains that so well. My brother actually wrote it. My brother's a PhD scientist that also writes, and
Awesome.
he did a ton of homework, interviewed First Crazy Dog, and the way that he wrote about that collaboration, I don't think anyone will touch that. So.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, I can't wait to go read that. And then, of course, listen to the track once it drops again. Entire state of Tim, Montana, July 31st. You mentioned Jerry Cantrell. That brings me into my next collaboration with you because Jerry's on Kind of Like It. And you said, because I was going to ask, how does a grunge guy fit into this? But you mentioned earlier that grunge really played a big part in your life. So tell us about that collaboration with a grunge founding father.
Yeah, man. I toured with him and Bush and hit it off. And he had me up on stage to sing Rooster, which I've had some scary moments in my career. But stepping into Lane Staley's shoes for 3.5 minutes is terrifying.
Well,
an honor, right? It's an absolute honor, but also terrifying.
And singing such a heavy song about Jerry's dad, too. It's like,
I
whoa.
know. And when Jerry looks at you on stage during that, he looked through my soul. And I was like, huh. It's really scary.
Oh, God.
But I got to sing it twice with them. So on tour, we became buddies. Awesome. And it came around the time of another collaboration that was already getting going. And Jerry called me to talk about hunting. And I was like, whoa. And I answered the phone. I'm like, what a sick phone call. And I told him about some other collabs. And he's like, so are we going to do something on this record? And I'm like, yes. So I sent him that song because if you listen to it, it's got the guitar is like very Alice in Chains centric. Wrote it with a couple of buddies in Nashville, my producer, and another fella, and then sent it off to Jerry, and he added the guitar to it. I'm like, oh my God, that is so sick.
Well, just another little treat in there, and I think it's cool that kind of bringing in that grunge influence that influenced you, and just with him, I mean, no one does it better. No one does it better.
Oh yeah,
and so that's so cool.
It's unbelievable.
Now another feature, an up and coming, very talented, very lovely young lady, Royale Lynn. You have featured on there on Crown of Ash. She's such a sweetheart and super talented. How did that come about?
We toured together with Seether and became buds, and I have so much respect for her because she would ride around in the motorhome with a bunch of dudes in there, and the AC went out, and she's sleeping at Walmart's, and like the work ethic blew me away. I was like, that's stuff that I did forever and ever and ever. Yeah. Just sleeping in Walmart. I slept in an Albertsons last night, by the way. I have a much nicer coach now from Integra. Nice. But yeah, she's riding around in these old motorhomes and asking me questions like, oh, the generator's out. And I was just like, wow, this is awesome. She's super talented, beautiful girl. Yeah. And then she's willing to sleep in Walmart parking lots in a motorhome full of dudes with no AC. I'm like, she's checked all the boxes, right? Yes. You got to have the grind. I always see talent get in the way of work ethic. Yeah. And,
absolutely. And not with her.
Both.
Not with her. Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
And we sat down. We actually wrote this song together, sang on it together. And it's really fun. And then afterwards, she's like a Game of Thrones junkie. And after we wrote the song, then I sat down and binge watched Game of Thrones. And I'm like, oh, you make much more sense now.
It's all pieced together. Did you watch the last season? That's where it kind of fell apart. I kind of gave up on it.
Yeah, I was just mortified after that wedding.
Oh yeah,
the wedding episode. All my dreams were crushed. Yeah. And I was like, oh God,
yeah.
No more of a compelling thing I've seen on a television screen than that episode. I was so sad, and then I had to binge watch the rest of it.
Right. I was more sad when the guy got his penis cut off, and that was I was like, damn, dude, that's horrible. That's awful. Right. But there you go. It turned out all right. I guess he learned from it. He learned from it.
Exactly.
As we all would. All right, final one. And again, I want everyone to know, like with these collaborations, each one is so unique and stands out in such a cool way and bringing in this entire Tim Montana world to us. And this one I think is really cool. Brown Sugar features not one but two musical legends, Billy Gibbons and Slash. And this collab also is serendipitous in nature, if you will, because those two artists have a really special place in your musical journey. Explain that.
Yeah, man. Billy Gibbons and I became tight friends about 13, 14 years ago. And that's the only guy that gave a crap about me. I've toured around North America with ZZ Top for over a decade, I think 70 plus shows. And Billy and I started a hot sauce company together called Whisker Bomb. Then we bought this lodge in Montana together. So we're business partners and fortunate and blessed to call him one of my best friends. And I wanted to pay homage to him. We've done a couple songs together already. I wrote his last single with him.
Yep.
Brown Paper Bag, that features Keith Urban, which is pretty awesome. And then we put out, I said, hey man, I want to go back in ZZ Top's catalog and cover something really unique. And we picked Brown Sugar. And then I was like, Billy, can you hit up Slash? And I'd played with Slash once, and that was at Billy's birthday jam. And he called Slash up and left a message and said, call Tim. And then I get a text like 2 hours later, hey Tim, this is Slash. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Which is a proper reaction. A proper reaction. Yeah.
Yeah, now I have a group text with those two, and boy, anytime that lights up, I actually get anxiety. I'm like, oh god, we check my spelling. I ask my wife, I don't look stupid in front of these guys.
Yeah, ChatGPT zingers you can put in there. I get you, man.
Right.
I mean, same.
But the funny thing is about that intro, that was never supposed to be on the record, where Billy's playing guitar and singing, and that's just him, like one take, no click. You hear his jewelry vibrating around. He was giving me a roadmap of how to play it, and he called me and he said, you're always in a hurry, and you always play the blues too fast. So here's an MP3. Listen to it and study it. And I did, and I was like, I ain't redoing that, dude. That is all you, my guy. I was like, that is so cool. So we put it on the record, and it's like just a rock icon, right? One take of a song he wrote in probably the late 60s, early 70s. I know it came out in 1971, but I'm just like, I can't replace that. Come on, Gibbons.
And it would be a shame to. So it's again, the serendipitous of it. And then two, you and Guns N' Roses actually go way back over a chance finding of Guns N' Roses tape, correct?
Yeah. My mom's husband had a pawn shop in northern Montana, and my mom's like super religious, and she got me all this music that she would get mad at me about later in life. She heard me listening. I think it was Use Your Illusion 2, where Axl Rose is calling out all these press people for talking trash. And I got busted with that. She broke the CD, and she's like, where did you get this? I'm like, the boxes that you bring home, Mom, from that won't sell at the pawn shop. But I lucked out, and the first one I found when I was like 5 or 6 had one side Mr. Brownstone, the other side Welcome to the Jungle. Nice. And that's when my mom said I started banging on every pan in the house, singing in every spoon. So then they're like, please buy him a guitar because he's driving us nuts. So
I love it, man. And again, just as we break down this album, which we are going to see on July 31st, entire state of Tim, Montana, I just feel like it's, and you are authentically you, and I think that's kind of been such a draw for listeners and people that are have become fans. But this seems like a really fun look into your life, into your musical stylings, the people around you, and just a 16-track deep dive. If you
man.
Yeah,
I try to write very honestly, and it was, music is therapy to me. And sometimes my wife's like, I don't know if I would have said that. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I just put it out there. But I mean, every night, like last night, I did a meet and greet, and people are coming up. And as I deep dive into some darker stuff from my past, it connects with people. And I think 2 or 3 people last night said, you're helping me get through a rough time. And I'm like, if writing it is therapy and people listening to it is therapy, then that's good, right?
That's right, man. I love it. I have a question for you here that I ask everyone, and I used to ask what's your favorite track on the record, but that's a hard question to ask because it changes every day. So instead, I want you to put yourself into an open Montanan field, okay? All right? You're out there, right, just like that. Folks, for anyone just listening to the podcast, he is showing me the beautiful landscape of Montana right now. Are you in Montana right now?
Yeah, right outside of Whitehall, driving the bus, I pulled over.
But it's the middle of the night. All of a sudden, Alien comes down. He's got time to listen to one track off of the entire state of Tim, Montana. You got a Discman queued up, anti-skip on, of course. That's how you got to do it. It drains the battery, but it's worth it. What song are you pushing play on for that Alien before he's got to dip out?
It's got to be Watch Me Drown, right?
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, you think about how many years like Brown Sugar has encompassed, like 1971 to now. But think about those war drums and those chants. Yeah. Those are hundreds, if not thousands of years old, recorded with modern rock. We're covering the landscape of maybe 1,000 years or more, right? So that's kind of, if that's an alien, I'm like, hey man, check this out.
Check this out. It's gonna blow your mind. I love it. Great answer. Oh my goodness. Well, Tim, it's so cool chatting with you, man. And I love digging into your catalog and your writing style. And this next one is just going to be such a treat. Entire State of Tim, Montana drops July 31st. Don't wait. Get it as soon as it's out and enjoy it, man, because you're going to go on a real fun journey with this one. Well, now that the important stuff's out of the way, can we do rapid fire real quick and I'll get you back on the road? Does that sound good?
Yes, sir.
Actually, first, before we do this, has Billy given you any beard tips to maintain a thick, luscious mane on your face?
Not really. He sends me a lot of beard oils, but he doesn't use beard oils because he's just, Texas. Oh, no. Mine kind of capped out here. His is all the way down below his belt, A
little different.
Yeah, he's just a blues man. I don't know.
And it's impossible to compete. There's times where I think I have a good beard, and then I just see ZZ Top, and I'm like, nah, that's
not going to touch him on guitar skills, beard skills, or just in general being cool, whether he's in pajamas or not. Right?
Exactly. All right, let's start with this: riff first or lyric first?
Riff.
The whistle solo in Winds of Change or in Patience?
Patience.
Vanilla Ice or Ice Cube?
Oh, that's tough.
I appreciate you saying it's tough. Most people go Ice Cube immediately, but I feel like you're thinking on this one.
Yeah, I've never met Vanilla Ice, but my buddy Pastrana hangs out with him all the time and said he's rad and he races dirt bikes and crashes them all the time, and I think that's pretty gangster. But I love Ice Cube.
Right?
Ice Cube. I'm going to go with Ice Cube.
Okay. Yeah. But still, honorable mention for Vanilla Ice, which I think is great.
I didn't know that about him. He needs to advertise that he does pit bike races at Nitro Circus Pastrana Land and crashes dirt bikes. I'm like, wow.
Get a little more street cred on there. That's good. I like that. Let's see. Choco Taco or Flintstone Push Pop?
Flintstone Push Pop.
My man. Would you rather see Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster?
Bigfoot. Now, I think we're related.
Okay. With you being in Montana and Big Sky Country and out around that area, have you ever felt like you've had a Bigfoot experience or maybe something similar?
No, I've ran into a lot of stuff in the woods. Had 2 UFO encounters, never once seen sign of Bigfoot, but a lot of people that live around our bar in Montana is famous for Bigfoot. Back in the 70s, there was a family apparently that was sighted over and over and over by multiple ranchers. So I kind of buy into it, but I have seen no proof myself.
So I fall on the line of, I heard a theory that he's interdimensional. He can travel.
And so that's interesting. I've heard that one too.
And so if it is, he's on a different plane than us. So if we ever catch him, it's just he goes and then he's gone. And then we just got to wait again. So I love it. I also got goosebumps talking about that. That's creeping me out, man. All right. Would you rather, final one for you here. Would you rather take a Chuck Norris, rest in peace, Mr. Norris, a Chuck Norris roundhouse at 100% power or a Mike Tyson punch at 50% power?
Mike Tyson at 50.
That's
I've heard that Chuck Norris, wasn't there some Bruce Lee story or something where he jacked somebody? What? Or did Bruce teach him? Was that the story?
I mean, I think Bruce taught him, but either way, Chuck Norris was able to compete with Bruce Lee in that sense. So, I mean, you take a roundhouse with some Walker Texas Ranger boots and action jeans, you're probably going to feel that one for a bit. So
yeah, the 50% punch, I'd do that.
Yeah, you do that. And also, it's a great story. It's a great story either way. So.
We talking in the arm or the nose?
Gut. Yeah, right. Gut punch, maybe. There you go. A few cracked ribs.
Gut punch. I'll do it.
You'll walk around. Thank you for humoring me. More importantly, Tim, thanks for talking new music. Thanks for talking life. And the new record, Entire State of Tim, Montana, out July 31st. This was a lot of fun, man.
Awesome, Brock. Thank you, brother.
Listen, rate, share, subscribe. Discover new music now at WJJO.com, in the JJO app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Brock has a new interview every Thursday evening between 6 and 7. 94.1 JJO.